and welcome to our final card in our Fun Fold class series. I apologize, my dog decided to start barking when I started doing the video, so you may hear him in the background. Someone must have pulled up in the driveway. All right, so we're going to be featuring our Heartfelt Hexagon and our Heartfelt Hexagon Punch. That is a stamp set and stuff that we'll be using today. And we'll also be using this amazing paper called Thoughtful Journey. So I have this kind of out so I can show you all the different pieces in here. I mean, it's just beautiful. I had a really hard time trying to figure out what paper I was going to use in the card. So I'm just sharing these with you. So I want you to see all this pretty cardstock. And this is designer series paper, sorry, not cardstock. That is on special right now through the end of August. So if you're watching this before August 31st, 2024, you can get this at 15% off. It makes for some amazing cards. You don't have to do a lot of stamping. It makes for actually a very quick card. So that's kind of why I decided to use this paper today. I just wanted to make a quick card and really wanted to kind of just keep my stamping down to a minimal amount so that I could quickly get this card done. All right, I'm going to show you my template for the card, and then we'll actually start designing our card. So what I like to do with my fun folds is I always create a template. So, and then on the inside, I write down all my measurements. So I even have them written here, but you can't see them, and you won't be able to see it on the black. So this is actually the card that we'll be designing. And let's get started on that. So I'm going to put my little measurements up here so I make sure I get them correct. I finally decided upon these two pieces for my card today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be scoring all of this. So this is just Mossy Meadow. It is 8.5 by 5.5, our normal card base. And now I'm going to go ahead and do my scoring. So the first score line that we want to do is at 1 1/4. Go right here. I'll hold that down with my guide there, and I've got my 1 1/4. And now I'm going to go to 4 1/4. Okay, there we go. I'll leave my trimmer here for a moment because we'll be doing some more cutting. So now I'm just going to take my bone folder here and give this a good crease. I'm going to flip this one back to the left. Give it a good crease. There we go. All right. Now let's bring in our designer series paper. So what did I just do with those two pieces? Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by myself for a moment. All right, so I'm going to start with my paper. I'm going to actually turn my trimmer here because I want to make sure that I'm cutting it in the direction I want. So this piece actually needs to be 5 1/4. So I need to take a 1/4 inch off. So I just have to determine what side of my paper I'm cutting off. So this is going to be your height. So I'm just going to trim this here. All right, so it's at 5 1/4. And now I'm going to turn it back this way to do the rest of my cutting because my card does go lengthwise here. So it's the longer side that I'm going to cut first. So I'm going to go ahead and go to 2 3/4 inch. So my first chunk is 2 3/4. So that's this one right here. So I got my 2 3/4 here. And now I'm going to do my second 2 3/4 right away. So just decide what part of the paper you really want to be able to see. I want the tree, so I'm going to cut off this portion of it. So I'm going to turn it and go to 2 3/4 and trim that. So there we go. So I've got two pieces at 2 3/4. Let's go ahead and grab a little sticky note, and I'll write that down. So it's 2 3/4 inch by 5 1/4 inch. All right. So that is, I'm going to call this my DSP 1. So I need two pieces of that. All right. So that's my first one. Make sure that wherever I put this, it'll stay in the frame. All right. Now we're going to do our second DSP. So we'll call that DSP 2. And that needs to be 1 inch by 5 1/4. So that's what we're going to cut now. So move these to a side. Pull in this really pretty piece. Now, with this one, I want my 1-inch strips to be next to each other because it's going to be next to each other here. So when I do that, I'm actually just going to cut my 2-inch piece first. So I'm cutting at 2 inches, and then I'm going to trim down to 5 1/4. And I kind of want, let's see where my piece is. I'm going to trim it based on where my design is. I'm going to do it first at 5 1/2, and then I'm going to turn it to be 4 1/4. Oh, I do want more of that blue in. Okay, so never mind. We'll just do it right to 5 1/4 right away. So this really depends on what paper you're using. Okay, so now I've got a 2-inch piece by 5 1/4. I'm going to cut that in half, so it's 1 inch by 5 1/4. Just get that lined up. I like to start from my bottom and go up when I'm cutting a smaller piece. I just think I'm more accurate that way and it doesn't bounce around. And the last piece that we'll need is a piece for the inside. So I need a piece of, and let's see, do I want to go with white or do I want to go with vanilla? I think I'm going to go with white. And I need that piece to be 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. Let's see. So I'm going to cut it at 2 3/4 here. And then I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. I will need some additional white for my stamped pieces that I'll be die cutting, or not die cutting, but punching. So we'll have that piece. So just have another scrap piece available to you. And I'm just getting that out now. All right. So here we go. So that's my scrap. So now I'm going to go ahead and write this down too. So we have that measurement. So this is my white or my neutral. So if you want to use vanilla or beige, so this is not 1 inch. It is 2 3. Oh, let's just write that over. That's kind of a mess. Okay, my white or my neutral, I should have been doing this on the other videos, but I did not, is going to be 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. Oh, I probably should have written it the other way. Oh, well, anyways, you get the idea. All right, so you need that strip. Okay, let's get assembling, and then we'll do our stamping. So let's pull in our basic, our card base here, and we'll pull in the pieces that we've cut. I'm going to move this to the side because that's the piece I need to stamp on. So now we have our pieces here. So I'm going to take my first larger piece, and I'm going to just put it right on my card here. So I don't know, it's not a super, like, super duper fun fold. It's just something different, a little, you know, a little different there. All right. So I'm going to adhere that down. All right. Now, for this one, I'm just going to flip that over, and I'm going to take my first piece. Let's see, I had to have it back in order here. Okay, so it went like that. So we'll take this one. There was a different fun fold I was going to do, and I completely forgot which one it was. So this is the one you get today. It's just, a fun fold is just something different from the normal, you know, regular opening. Okay, we'll put this over here. All right, so we got that right there. We're going to open this up. We'll put this piece right in here. All right, right, so now we need to stamp on this piece. Now, when we put this piece in, you do want to make sure there's your base cardstock showing, so that way it's hidden behind this flap. All right. So let's go ahead and get this piece stamped. So I am going to send, I hope your day is filled with joy, sending you lots of loves and hugs. So we'll take the little design here, and I'm going to stamp that first. So I'm going to drop it on my work surface and pick it up with my block. That way I know the stamp didn't wiggle, because this is all open inside. And we're going to go ahead and stamp with Mossy Meadow and Blackberry Bliss. And where's my other Mossy Meadow here? I have two different stamp pads because, I don't know, my Mossy Meadow wasn't working nicely. And where did I put it? Okay, so here's our Mossy Meadow, here's our Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to stamp the inside of the sentiment in Blackberry. So let's go ahead and take this, and I'm going to stamp it right here. Okay, I'm also going to take my scrap piece that I had and stamp one there as well. Okay. So we're done with that. And now we're going to have our sentiments here. So on the inside, I just got to decide which one I want to do. I think I'm going to have to do this because I stamped it that direction already. Although, I could change it around. Oh, we'll just put this on the outside. That's fine. All right. It happens. Okay. So in this one, I'm just going to center that right in there. All right, and this one, take another block here. Ink that up. And just center that right in here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to use my punch to punch this one out. That's going to be on the front of our card. Okay, that'll be on the front. We're going to put another punch in there. This one I'm leaving just like it is. I'm not going to punch that out because that's for the inside of our card. So here we go with that one. All right. There we go. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make a belly band for the card to keep it closed, you definitely could. I am actually just going to be putting it right here. So what I'll do is grab a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to go ahead and punch out that hexagon shape. So here we go. Okay. So for this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece in half. Grab my scissors. And so I'm just going to kind of extend my punch there just a little bit. All right, so I'll go in the back. And we'll just run our adhesive here. Run our adhesive here. Now notice it was kind of hanging off the edge. I'm just going to take that and curl it back. All right. And then I'll put this right on. Depending on how wide you want your extra punch to be on there. And I don't like where it's sitting. Come on. And of course I use Seal Plus, so it's super, super sticky. All right. I didn't have that lined up very nicely. How do I know? All right. Okay. So now I'll just use my dimensionals and I'll pop that up on this side. So I'm actually just going to use a strip here. Okay, make sure which side I'm going on here. Right. Okay, so that will be our card. Again, if you wanted to have a belly band so that wouldn't flip open, you can definitely do that. Why don't we, I'll show you how to make that. That is going to be using our, we'll use another piece of Blackberry Bliss here. Ooh. And we're going to cut it at, oh, actually, I'm just looking. I'm thinking maybe that the mossy meadow would work better. I hadn't planned to add that one, but we'll go ahead and do it. I think it's going to finish off the card much nicer. So I'm just going to take a 1-inch piece of my mossy meadow. And yes, it already has a score line in it, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, we'll peel this off. Actually, I'm going to have to redo my dimensionals on there. So let's see if we can peel our dimensional stuff off. Okay, I'm just going to roll it off here. All right. Because what's going to happen is I need it to fit here. So my little sentiment will be on the belly band. All right. So what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and add, let's just get this wrapped around first. Okay. So notice it didn't quite match. What I'll have to make sure I do is put my dimensionals here and here. And that will be held by that. So let's just make sure I didn't make this too tight. And it is a little snug. So I'll just move it a little bit. I just want it to be straight. Make sure I can slide that. Yep. All right. Once I make sure I can slide that, then I can actually give those a little bit of a press. All right. Now, the easiest way to do this then would be to take your dimensionals. We're going to go ahead and add this again. And put it onto the ends here of your belly band. Okay. And where'd that go? I don't know where it just disappeared to. I just took it off and I don't know where it went. It disappeared from my desk. Okay, now that I have my label again, I can fold this back down. I can put this right on there. All right. So now let's add a couple little embellishments here, and we will be done with this card. So one thing about fun folds is you can really use any stamp set, any cardstock, anything to make them. One thing I always like to do in our club, our studio card club, I do go ahead and always have a fun fold in the club cards, because club is really all cards. So you get 8 card kits. You make 2 of each of the same design. So there's 4 different designs. You make 2 of each. And I'm going to use these. One is always a fun fold. All right, so let's go ahead and put our little sparkles here. And we'll put one down here. All right. So quick and easy, another quick and easy fun fold. Hope you like this. Let me know how it is. Let me see what you make with it. I'd love to see your designs. It's always an inspiration to me when I get to see what you all are doing. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this class series this week. Again, if you would like the PDF tutorial, which contains all the directions, the details, the measurements, the pictures, the supplies, everything that we use to make these, if you place an online purchase in my online store for $50 before shipping, handling, and tax, I will go ahead and email you that PDF tutorial. So, all right, so here is our Fun Fold online class series host code. This is the host code that you need to use when you place your $50 order, so I know that you want the PDF tutorial. All right, take care, and I hope you enjoyed this series.